Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar. After spending almost a decade with Excel, it's time to move on and search for a better and faster technology, and something that can give us a cutting edge in the challenging technological times where new technology is getting ditched by something new and at rapid pace. The idea is to replicate almost all Excel functionalities in Python. My name is Nurmalita, and it is my pleasure to be here today. Moreover, let me introduce our speakers for today, who are going to give you an overview about Python as Excel replacement. To Mr. Hadi, Haidar, Tarik, and Okta. Now, I would give the stage to Hadi.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Tita, for allowing me to present my screen. Hello, everyone. How are you? Thank you for joining our webinar. Today, webinar topics, we will discuss about replacing Excel with the Python for data visualization and analytics. My name is Hadi Ismanto. I'm a CEO of Tech Bros. Currently, we are based in Germany, especially in Düsseldorf. We've been starting this company since 2017. So we are growing up with the different. This is our service. You know, mainly Tech Bros is the main business on the telecommunication consulting, such as of radio network planning, engineering, network integration, testing, private network, open run. So we are very special on the telecom consulting. The other business that we are running is about the artificial intelligence that we deploy a software, AI adaptation with the infrastructure, AI engineering, AI for the use cases. We have in Tech Bros, we have some, many our engineer expert of the AI. Also in the other business, we're running for the data analytics, for data scientists, like data audit, use cases, development, team assessment, software evaluation, and then data product development. And then the last one is about talent development. We have the talent development for like the fellowship. We have invited people to do some like boot camp, and then like some training about the new technology. For today webinar, you know, as we know, everyone knows, everyone may be used every day or daily work using the Excels. Excel is very powerful. Even myself, I use the Excel for data entry, storage, make it chart, make it presentation, using the pivot, using the pivot chart, graph, everything for data modeling, even for a presentation. You know, we use the Excel with powerful tools. But in the coming soon, even now, we since the data as a lot of data, and then more advanced of analytics, especially for the programmatics processing, we're dealing with the larger quantity of data. Even the data is more than 1 million of row. That Excel, it could be like, will be problem, you know, with the IoT data, big data. And then also for the advanced modeling like machine learning, natural language processing, and also for advanced charting and visualization. That this is the difference of the Excel and Pythons. The today agenda, now I'm presenting about the openings. Let me tell you about the agenda. First, about the introduction. It will be presented by Haidar, to explain what is the difference between a Python. We have Panda and Pythons. What is the we will demo, like for example, use the Google Colab, and then in Excel we have, for example, the Vlookups, how you will be using the Vlookup on the Pythons, how you will make it some function replacing and everything. Because in Python, it's gonna be easier. I mean, but the different Excel is gonna be GUI, but the Python is more advanced. That if you're familiar with the Python, it's gonna be easier processing. And then the next topic, we will go beyond. Then how we use especially for the time series analysis. We have a big data, we have use cases. My colleague Okta will explain to you when we have like big data, it's not possible to process by Excel anymore. Then we need to use other tools such as Pythons. Thank you. This is enough from me. And then next session gonna be from Haidar. Thank you, Tita.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mas Hadi, for the brief introduction. So for the first session, I would like to share with you the overview of today's event. So first of all, I would like to explain and give overview of why we want to replace Excel with Python and how we can do it. So first of all, what is Python? I suppose, as some of you might have already known, Python is currently one of the most popular programming language in the world. And Python can be used especially for data analysis, machine learning, data visualization, AI, and much more. So because it's programming language, it can do many things, but especially for data analysis and data science. And with simple syntax and huge library collection, using Python will greatly increase your productivity to achieve your goal. And so the next one, what is Pandas? So one of the most important tool or library in Python is Pandas. So Pandas is a software library written for the Python programming language for data manipulation and analysis. And in particular, it offers data structure and operation for manipulating numerical tables and time series. So we'll use this library for the purpose of data analysis and manipulation. And this is the main library that we use at TechBros to do data science and data analysis. So the main point of the today event, so as you may already know, there are many powerful tools available in Python, and here we will like to show you how we can replace Excel with it. So here are some advantages of using Python over Excel. So the first one is simpler and more readable formula for complex tasks. Yeah, maybe if you want to do like only sum or average in Excel, it's really easy. But for more complex tasks like filtering or manipulating several tables, it's really hard in Excel, and you may need to use VBA, and VBA is not really easy. And if you compare it with the syntax of Python, it's way more simpler. And with that, you can learn it more easily and implement your logic to Python better. And besides that, Python also has many integration with many software, API, and libraries. So if you want to work with many software other than the data itself, using Python is more advantageous. Also faster at handling larger volume of data. So Mas Hadi previously already said that Python can also be used for big data. So maybe for 20 or 100 or 1,000 rows, using Excel is okay, comparable performance. But afterward, like 10,000, 100,000, even million of rows of data, Excel will really slow down, and it's better to use Python at that point. And lastly, Python is free and open source. So you can save costs, and because it's open source, you don't really depend on the provider of the software for it, and you gain more freedom with it. And so now we know that we can do some data science, data analysis, and also we can also use Python for data visualization. And here are some example of data visualization in Python. So as you can see on the left is Matplotlib. That is the built-in library from Python to make a graph, to visualize your data. And on the right is Seaborn. And it's also for visualization, but the color is more prettier. So if you want to make it more aesthetic, you can use it. And as you can see, there are many graphs available in Python, and you can use it to visualize your data in many ways. Like you can have scatter plot, bar chart, heat map, circular chart, circular graph, and then even 3D, like on the bottom left, you can even visualize your data and 3D models. So there are many ways to represent your data in Python. And here are some library. I already mentioned Matplotlib and Seaborn. And lastly is Plotly. And you can use Plotly to deploy your visualization on a live server. So if you want to show it to your customer, you can use Plotly. So now that we grasp the basic understanding and overview of Python to use it for data analysis, we will do some showcase to see the code in action. So if you guys want to also join with the programming by yourself on your own computer, you can go to the Colab, and the link is collab.research.google.com. And for the data source, for our showcase, we will use data source from Kaggle, and it is the telecom churns dataset. We will share the link shortly in the chat. So afterward, we'll do a showcase, and I will hand over the presentation to my colleague, Torik. Torik, the floor is yours.
Hi there. Thank you. So yes, my name is Tariq, and I am currently working as a data scientist in TechPros. And today, I will show you a glimpse of the functions that are commonly used in Excel that can be replaced by Python. So, yeah, I cannot show my face right now because I don't have my webcam, but it's okay. I will share my screen. So, this is our file, this is our data. What we have here, we are dealing with a CSV file. And as you can see, I have not set my Excel yet to show CSV file properly. So we can just go to the slides. One moment. So let me show the pointer. Yeah, so yeah, this is, yeah, as my colleague mentioned before, this is the Kaggle link, and then this is the Colab link that I am going to be using. But I'm going to show the slides instead so I can dissect further the functions that we'll be using. So since we are dealing with a CSV file, we first need to convert the data from CSV to a data frame, data from the Pandas library. So in Python, we use Pandas, and to open Excel files or to CSV files or spreadsheets, we can turn it to a data frame. And this is a data frame. To do so, we can use this method readCSV, where you can specify the path of the CSV file. Or maybe you have an Excel file, and instead of CSV, you use Excel, read Excel. So yeah, so PD is the library of the pandas. I import pandas as PD. And I am declaring this variable churndf as my data frame, as the our data frame from the data that we will be using. So yeah, a little bit background from the data. This data is from Orange Telecom. So it is basically a data set. It's non-confidential. I think it's open source, and it basically has the rows as the customer, different customers, and all the attributes of example, where they stay, the state of where they stay, the area code, whether they have international plan or not, voicemail plan or not. They have the minutes they call in the day, evening, the calls they made, and then Lastly, whether they churn or not. So this customer behavior leads to the information whether they either do business with the company or they move and not do business with the company. So, oh yeah, and after having this data frame, actually you can also export it to a CSV file back, either to um, to an Excel file, or maybe data, or maybe SQL, for example, a database. It is possible, but I will show that to you later. So yeah, so let's take a look at the data. In this data frame, well, maybe you want to just take the state, and then you want to know like for each customers where they live, or the area code. And this is simply possible by just stating which column name you want, and then you can print out that specific column. So for example, I just want to know the state. Just simply say the column name, which is state here, and just, yeah, so it's pretty simple. You can see customer 0 is from Kansas, and customer 1 from Ohio. Or yeah, or maybe you want to get the specific uh, row and column by indexing. This is also possible by simply state the index value. Since we are dealing with pandas, so instead of uh, using like in Excel, we have the cell addressing alphabetically in for the columns, and then index numbers from 0 to infinity. Instead, we have both indexing here. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3. You cannot see it here, but it is there. And then here you can see it. So yeah, so you can specify it by using iLook. You can, like for this example, I want to specify customer 0. So this is the row. I can specify the customer 0 here. And then the column for by which I use this column, meaning that I want to show all of the columns. So yeah, this is the information of customer 0. To filter the data, this is really easy to do with Python. So to do so, you can just simply, so oh yeah, maybe for example, you just want to see where the customer, which customer that do churn. So meaning the churn value is true, the Boolean churn value is true. So you only want to output that. This is possible by expressing the condition as a Boolean expression here. So I am first specifying which column that I want to take, so which is the churn, just like before. And then I add the Boolean expression, the condition where it is true. So I'm specifying it is true. So whenever this Boolean expression is true, all the rows that have churn is equal to true will be printed. So you can also have like conditions as well by just using the logic expressions like and or and nor, anything. Uh, Unique values from specific columns. This is also possible. You can, for example, you want to know the unique states, the different states that it is there in the data set. So you want to see, well, of course, there are 50 states in the United States, but you can see there, but you cannot see it there, right? So you can use this method unique. So by using this method unique, you can output all the unique values inside the column name, inside the column by yeah, by their unique values. Yeah. So as an array. So you have all the different uh, all the different states, or maybe you want to have the value count of the values or the unique values inside that column. You can simply use the value counts method. As you can see here, WV, I think it's West Virginia. There are 106 customers from West Virginia, uh, 84 customers from Minnesota, and so on and so forth. Statistical values. You can use this describe method. This describe method is very handy if you want to take an overview of the whole data set. You want to see how each column is doing. So you can use this describe method, and then you will see the count, the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum and the maximum values. of the each different columns. So as you can see here, we can have the total, for example, I don't know, total day minutes of everyone, of all the customers. So you can see the the maximum is 350 minutes, point 8, so on and so forth. Or maybe you want to take from one specific column. This is also possible by just simply stating which column you want, and then take the operational method. This operational method is very intuitive. You can, if you want to sum everything, just say sum. That's the method. Or you want to take the mean, just say mean. Yeah. So yeah, this is why Python is really good, because it's very intuitive with this Pythonic language. And yeah, this is the example. You want to take the total international charge from the total international charge. Yeah, and then yeah, you can use the function, the method sum. You can have the sum value here. Creating a new column. So let's say you want to create a new column, and then you want to take all the informations that was given, and then one moment. Okay. Yeah. So you want to take from all the given informations and then add them. So for example, you have this total day calls, and then evening calls. You have night calls, international calls, customer service calls, but then you don't have the information of the total cost from the customer. So yeah, simply just stating which so simply just stating the name, the new name of the column. So you don't have total cost here. So yeah, you create total cost. You just say total cost because you don't have total cost before. So just write anything you want here, the new column. So I say total cost, and then I add them, basically just stating which columns I want, and then just add them. Yeah, it's very intuitive. And then yeah, you can see here. So customer 0, they are making 304 calls. Customer 1, 333, and so on and so forth. Yeah, instead of addition, you can also use division. You can also use subtraction, any other operation you want. So the sky's the limit. Okay, so VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is arguably the most used function there is in Excel, I think. So it is done by specifying the lookup value you want. For example, this the ID you want C104. You want to take from the ID C104, and you want to take from this table the return from column 3, math, right? This is yeah, we have this syntax in Excel, but uh, in Python, this is really easy. So for example, yeah, I don't know how to. Tita Haider, how do you close this thing? Hello? Can
Just press escape.
escape?
You're still sharing.
Yeah, no, actually, can you see the participants, the 3 people entered waiting room? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's gone now. Okay, so maybe we want to take the total day calls of the customer with the account length of 137. So wait, let me have my pointer. Yeah, so this is the account length 137. So you can see it by eye, it's right here, and then you can see the total day calls, it's 114. But to do it in Excel, just simply state your condition here. So you want the account length to be 137, simply state there, and then create another square brackets stating the column name, the return column name, so total day calls. You output it and you get 114. Yeah, it's very easy. Replacing specific values. This is probably the most useful method. You can specify the previous value that you want to replace, and then specify the new value that you want to overwrite the previous value with. So in this example, I want to change OH to Ohio because I don't know what OH is and I want to know what it really is. So I want to change OH to Ohio. This is simply by using the replace function, just replace brackets, and then specify the previous value and the new value, OH, Ohio, and then you output it. You have Ohio instead of OH. Now let's go to data visualization. As my colleague previously mentioned, we have a lot of different libraries to visualize data in Python, uh, such as Matplotlib, Seaboard. But in this case, I will be showcasing the built-in functions from Pandas, where you can plot. So an example where I want to create bar graph to visualize total calls from all states. This is simply by creating a new data graph, a new data frame, uh, and use this function group by to group by the unique values of a specific column. So in this case, the state. I'm not sure why I did not show the different columns here, but yeah, this is the new data frame that we have after grouping it by the state, and then um, yeah, and then use the operation sum to one moment. Yeah, to group by each different states. So for example, uh, yeah, I have all the different states here, and this is the total cost. By the way, yeah, it's not there, but yeah, the total cost. I have all the total columns from I forgot what LA is, but yeah, from the state LA, yeah, we have 15,000 calls. Yeah, and by having this data frame, we have all the total costs, and we will just simply specify which column we want to plot the states against. So total cost, I call the total cost, and then use the plot function, simply just plot, and then specify which kind of graph you want. You can specify the bar graph, the line graph, or pie chart. And in this case, I want to create horizontal bar graph since we have multiple y-axis values. So yeah, you can also specify the figure size since it is going to be outputted as PNG. You have here the states and then the total cost. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but yeah, we have West Virginia as the most with the most total cost, and then we have here California to have the least cost, total cost. So replacing macro VBA with Python, this is also doable by simply well by simply combining all of the methods that I mentioned earlier, or all the functions. You can just put it inside one Python script as a .py script, and then actually automate those Excel files just like how you do it in VBA, with definitely less lines of codes. And now I will show you a project that we did in the company. I'm going to be showing a video. Yeah. So yeah, the thing is, this project that we have the data confidential, and I cannot really give you the values here. But then what I can show you is probably maybe what it really is. Maybe I can describe a bit. So basically, it's from telecommunication data from the base stations, if I'm not mistaken, and we have the frequency bands, and we have the sector, and we want to use these values to define the coverage and the coverage and the, if I'm mistaken, coverage and capacitance. Yeah. So by manipulating the data given, I want to create a new Excel file with all the new values and then the new columns, simply like you want to do it in VBA. So yeah, so this is the file, and then it's in CSV, by the way. And yeah, so this is the code that we have. So we are using pandas, and then we are reading it as CSV file, like I aforementioned before. And to run this script, you can either input the CSV file as inside in the terminal as an argument, like so here, but then I comment it out because I want to create a simple GUI so that I can have like a simple exe file to run easily without using Python. So it is also possible, and I will be showing it to you. I cannot really say a lot, but here I manipulated the frequency, changing the frequency band, and then with the given formula, I created new columns, and then put the new informations, and then yeah, basically just how like you do it in VBA. And then I want to so since we are dealing it there in Python, we have this data frame. So I want to give it as an Excel file. This is possible by saving it, by exporting it as Excel file by using this function to Excel. So it is easy. So you can specify the path, the out path, and then yeah, whether you want to show the index numbers or not. And so yeah, this is the GUI code. So we are using tkinter. This is the GUI library that we are using. We just put some 1, 2, or 3 I think buttons to use. So yeah, these are the codes. It is yeah. So after running the script, this is the GUI that is shown. So I have 3 different buttons. I specify so the file to be converted. You can just look up where it is, and then okay. So yeah, this is the previously mentioned file that we have. So that I have shown you. So yeah, it is taken as an input, and then specify it with a radio button uh, of the of the argument. Like yeah, you can specify it all you want, and then you can convert it like in 2 seconds, which is really fast. So take note that we have in this spreadsheet we have a lot of I think it's more than 1,000. So that's yeah. Scalability in Python wins. So it has a lot of data here. So yeah, I cannot uh, take a I cannot give you this values because it is confidential. But as you can see here, I created by manipulating the data, I can have like new informations, and then to have a conclusion of whether it is a convergence uh, or capacitance. So yeah, it is possible. It is saved as an Excel with different name and the timestamp. So yes, it is possible, and it's really fast. It's not so hard, but yeah, it wins because I think Python it is by automation, it is really fast, and then scalability wise, you can play around with spreadsheet that holds millions of values. And so to answer the small question whether it can replace Excel or not, then technically yes, because what you can do in Excel you can also do it in Python. But you need a little bit of Python programming skill, but that is also not so bad because Python is not really so hard to learn due to the Pythonic language, and it's readable to use. So okay, without further ado, I guess that's all for me, and I will give this the stage to my friend Okta, and he will be talking about predictive um, analysis, I think, about with a time series data set. So Okta.
Okay, let me share my screen first. Wait, can you see my screen? Okay,
Yes.
so as said by Master Ceremony before, my name is Okta Fajar Suryani, and currently I'm working in Tech Plus Group as a senior AI engineer. And in the previous season, my friend Tarek has been demonstrated how to perform some basic uh, statistic operation using pandas. So now I want to talk about go beyond with Python. Here I will explain about what we can doing further using Python, for example, performing classification analysis task, or maybe performing time series analysis. Okay, and for today, I will show you about the time series analysis step by step. Uh, Here, we have a very unique case in Germany about electrical power system. And here, the problem is how we can make the electrical power more optimized. So by optimizing the power plant, hopefully we can reduce the operational cost, or maybe reduce the uh, annual national budget. And in order to optimize the power plant system, we need to really understand our data set completely. For example, we should understand how the data is generated, and also we should understand how the behavior of each element inside our data and other. To understand all of the phenomena inside our data, we should perform data analytic, or maybe we should create some machine learning model that can help us. So in order to optimize the power plant system, maybe we can start by defining what is our main problem, and the problem can be in form of some basic question about our data. But before go to the problem, I want to show the dataset format. You can see in the screen like this. So the dataset have the electricity consumption feature, and also the information about wind and solar power production. You can see the format like this. And if we visualize our data, it look like this. To perform visualization, I also using the pandas and Python. So you can see the result like this. From this picture, we can see that the electricity consumption and solar and also wind power production behavior is pretty same, right? Uh, there are same pattern occur periodically year by year, and it is continuous. And also use from this picture, you can see that the data is collected from 2006 until 2017. And here it is clear that the solar power production is start in 2012, while the wind power production start in 2010. And in the next slide, we will try to analyze why this behavior happen. And maybe why the solar power production start in 2012, and wind power production start in 2010. Okay, like I said before, we need to define our problem, right? So here I already list 4 questions that represent our problem. Uh, so you can see here we have 4 questions. The first question is about when is electricity consumption typically highest and lowest. By knowing the when electricity consumption highest and lowest, maybe we can maybe we can provide some uh, technical plan to optimize the power plant, right? And and you can see other question in the screen. Okay, maybe we can try to answer this question one by one. But before answering this question, before doing the data analysis based on our problem, uh, if you look at this question, uh, we know that the problem is asking us about the relation of data feature with the specific time, right? For example, in the question number 1, it is asking us about the electricity consumption based on the when it is highest and when it is lowest. And also in the second question, it is asking us about the uh, solar production relation with season of the year. So to provide more information, here I perform some feature engineering. So from the daytime feature, I want to break down and extract the some information like year and then month, and also I can extract the uh, weekdays name from the daytime feature, and our data set became like this. You can see in the feature, this is the three our new feature. Hopefully, using this new feature, it is can help us to analyze the data more easier, more easier. Okay, and then for the problem number 1, when is the electricity consumption typically highest and lowest? Here I will answer this problem in 2 methods. The first one is yearly basis, and the second one is weekly basis. For the yearly basis, uh, you can do you can write the Python code like in the screen. Here I am using the data visualization libraries called Seaborn, and I'm using the box plot for plotting style. And here, because we already have the month feature, so we can plot the feature from this picture. We can draw some conclusion, right? For example, we can see that the electricity consumption is highest in winter, while the electricity consumption is lowest in summer. Uh, why the electricity consumption is highest in winter? We can answer this maybe because in the winter season, so many people only stay in their home, and also because the temperature is low, they switch on their electric heater, and also because they only stay in their home, the lightning demand is also increasing, so it is caused the electricity consumption is highest in the winter season. And then for the second method, I will answer this question in weekly basis. So here I will using the weekdays name feature, uh, and the plot is like this. Here I also using the box plot, and we can draw the conclusion. The electricity consumption typically is highest in the weekdays and lowest in during holidays, right? It is makes sense because in the weekdays we know that so many offices are still open, and need the electricity. And start from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is weekend, we can see that the electricity consumption is start decreasing. We know that in the weekend, so many office is closed, and people tend to uh, go outside to vacation. And then for the second problem, how do wind and solar power production vary with season of the year? Here, I will using the different plotting style. I'm using a line plot, and like previous slide, I also extract it monthly using the month feature. We can see here from the graph, we can draw the conclusion that solar power production is highest in summer, while the uh, solar power production lowest in winter. And maybe why the solar power production highest in summer? Maybe because when the summer season, the the sunlight is available more than other season, right? So why the solar power production is increased and each reach their peak during the summer season. And for the wind power production, it is negatively correlated with solar power production. Here, the graphic result, and from the graphic we can draw conclusion that wind power production is highest in winter, while the uh, wind power production is lowest in summer. It is because wind power production or wind power plant is need wind to produce the electricity, right? So in the winter, we know that the wind is stronger than other season. So here in the winter, the wind power production is increased and reach their peak. Okay, and then for the problem number 3, we want to answer the question about how is the trend for electricity consumption, solar power, and wind power production. Here, this is the Python code you can apply, and then this is the visualization result. From here, we can see for the electricity consumption, we can see in the black and bold lines that the trend is pretty flat, right? Uh, the blue line is represent the rolling mean or moving average. So here we can see that the electricity consumption is flat year by year from 2006 until 2017. And this is the trend for solar and wind power production. This is the Python code that you can apply. And we can see that for the solar power production, the trend uh, uh, is increasing, but not so much. While the wind power production is the trend is increased dramatically. And from this trend chart, we can draw conclusion that maybe uh, why the power why the solar and wind power production is increased year by year. It is because maybe so many people start to realize how important the renewable energy, and then so many researchers in the universities start to focusing their research in renewable energy. And this is the last question. It is asking us about the percentage comparison between the wind plus solar and the uh, electricity consumption. Here we can see because the because the trend of solar and wind is increasing year by year, while the electricity consumption trend is flat, it is clear that the percentage is also increasing year by year, like this. And this is the Python code. This is the visualization result. And also, before I end my slide, I will show you about the time series prediction. If I'm not wrong, in the Excel, there is a function that can be used to perform time series prediction, right? If I'm not wrong, it is called moving average. So here I want to show you how moving average is implemented in Python using Pandas and visualize using Seaborn or other libraries. Here we can doing the moving average using a rolling function, and you can see the result here. The blue is represent the original data, and the green is represent our moving average prediction result. Here we can see that the prediction result is smooth, and uh, it can show us the trend same with the original data, like this. So in conclusion for from my talk is you can perform advanced data analysis. Here I show you about the time series analysis easier in Python than in Excel, and also Python support us with so many prediction algorithm and so many visualization libraries where we can choose our plotting style freely. Okay, maybe that's all from me, and thank you for your attention. Maybe I can give back the stage to Hadi.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you Hadi, Haidar, Tarik, and Okta for the elaboration of the convenience of Python in data analytics. And I'm aware that some of you have few questions, so feel free to ask any. You can ask your question in the chat room. So while waiting for some of you to ask questions, if you are interested to deep dive more in data science or AI or data analytics, we provide two programs for you who want to learn more about this. We have AI for business leaders, for professionals who wants to get the overview about data analytics in real life cases. And we also have AI fellowship program for students. So these two are intensive programs. So if you would like to learn more about this, you can ask for more about this program to this email. I will send the email in the chat room. You can also ask about our program, so feel free to ask. Anyone still have any questions?
Yeah, maybe you can raise the hand, or maybe we can open the mic.
So if you do not have any questions, okay, great. Then we have unfortunately come to the end of the event. So it is our honor to have all the supports from you. We would like to once again thank you to our wonderful presenter, Hadi, Okta, Haidar, and Tarik. And for your time and attention, thank you so much for joining all of us today. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.